From our studio in Georgetown, this is the TV Delmarva Channel 14 News at 4.
Good day, Delmarva. Reporter Rob Petrie here for TV Delmarva Channel 14 News. Straight ahead, we hear from a Dover woman who is speaking out, pleading for her husband to come back home after he left over a week ago and has not been seen or heard from since. We provide you with an update on that story. Farmers continue to speak out against a solar farm proposal on hundreds of acres of land east of Smyrna. And a Harrington man was arrested on drug and weapons charges in Lewes. These stories and more coming up, but weather first with Hunter Alton.
Hello and good Monday afternoon, Delmarva. I hope everyone had a fantastic weekend. We are still dealing with the influences of a pesky stationary boundary that has been setting up shop pretty much across the entire mid-Atlantic states. Over the weekend, we've seen some beautiful conditions. We've seen plenty of sunshine for the most part, but our coastal locations were definitely noticeably cooler with that onshore breeze, but some areas were actually very warm as well. But now today, take a live look outside of TV Delmarva Studios here in Georgetown. We got the cloud cover because we are on the north side of that stationary boundary and keeping temperatures a little bit cooler too. Only 61 degrees here in Georgetown. Take a look at some satellite and radar. You can see the influence of the clouds moving across from the area on the northwest orientation. Now we are still going to be dealing with clouds even into the overnight hours tonight that could be sparking some patchy fog as well, especially the closer you get towards the Atlantic coast. But further west, there is a cold front that is on the way, and that will be delivering some rain chances going into the mid-afternoon hours tomorrow. But the good news is we're going to see a little bit of sunshine beforehand and some much milder temperatures across the region. Now let's have a look at those temperatures elsewhere on Delmarva at this hour, and there's a clear indication of where that stationary boundary is this afternoon, especially areas from Easton, Salisbury, down towards Wallops Island, and southward. You notice to be much warmer conditions as well. Currently 72 right now in Salisbury, 71 in Pocomoke City. Cooler along the Atlantic coast in Ocean City at 58, 69 for Easton. But further north, to the north of that stationary boundary, currently 66 in Centerville, only 59 in Dover, 63 in Wilmington, and 63 as well in Newark. Take a look at the dew points. No surprise with that frontal boundary sitting right over our area. We're starting to see a little bit some more humid conditions as well. Further north of that boundary, your dew points are in the upper 40s and lower 50s. But further south, we got dew points right at 60 degrees for multiple locations from Salisbury, Pocomoke City, and as well as for Exmoor. Take a look at some sustained winds. Pretty much everybody here on the shore is looking at winds from the east and northeast up to about 8 and 10 miles per hour sustained, but we are seeing some stronger wind gusts, especially closer towards the coast. Currently gusting to 18 miles per hour here in Georgetown, 14 for Salisbury, 16 in Ocean City, 18 for Centerville, 22 in Dover, and gusting to 20 miles per hour up north in Newark. Now we do have a cold front on the way tomorrow that's going to give us the chance of some scattered rain chances and also be the warmest day of the week as well, because behind that front we're going to be looking at much cooler conditions to finish out this week, and I'll have all those details in your Pinpoint Forecast here in just a little bit.
Well, we brought you news over the weekend about a Dover woman who was pleading for her husband to come back home after he left over a week ago and has not been seen or heard from since. Jamie Clark, who reached out to our news department Friday, tells us that her husband, Charles, left on the morning of Thursday, April 14th, and never returned. Charles had not been seen or heard from since. She pleaded with him to come home in an exclusive interview. What would you say to your husband?
Charlie, just come home for the kids. The babies know you're gone. They miss you. The girls know you're gone. They miss you. Pick up the phone. Call somebody. You need to come home. You know, if you don't want to call me, call your parents, call your sister, call somebody. Let us know where you are.
Now get this, early this morning, Jamie reached back out to update us, explaining that police were able to make contact with her husband, who is now all the way out in Arizona.
He was located this morning, 4:30 this morning. He's in Arizona.
What would make him go to Arizona? Do you have any ideas or any connection to Arizona?
His parents were military years and years and years ago. And originally he was born out in Arizona. And numerous times he did say he wanted to go venture out that way, at some point and see, because he was a baby when he left Arizona. So
Jamie says her husband indicated to police that he plans on returning home. Meanwhile, Freepoint Solar has plans to build a solar farm on roughly 260 acres of farmland east of Smyrna along Woodland Beach Road and Lighthouse Road. Now, this has outraged farmers in the area who argue that solar farming should not be included as agriculture. We got a chance to sit down with a local farmer, Donald Goldsboro, who owns land just adjacent to where the farm has been proposed. He filed a lawsuit against the company.
We believe that our property value has been kept down because of being in conservation area. But we could sell lots. We could sell a few lots to housing, but nobody would want to be located directly across from that. So I believe it's damaging my property value.
Yeah, and let's explore that a little more here. Why are you and others in this area so concerned over, this solar farm? How is that going to affect, where you live and how you operate?
Well, we're actually too, we're concerned about like it as the mandates for the green energy, switching over to green energy increase, that it's going to take up more and more farmland. As it does that, it's going to jeopardize the infrastructure, such as like fertilizer companies, seed companies, tractor supply, everything related to at some point, everything related to farm. If it doesn't keep the infrastructure up, and somebody like me who's determined to keep it in farmland won't be able to, because we just won't.
No one can be the last one standing.
And I'm in this area. We supply to the chicken growers with the feed. That's what almost all the grain that's grown on these farms go to chicken feed. So if we're not able to feed the chickens, the chicken industry will fail, we believe, and particularly downstate where you are. And I'll tell you what else is kind of happening is we are passing ordinances, which is going to future. It will limit the amount they can do here. And I think what it's going to probably do is shove those solar companies to looking at Sussex County and other places to right now, the conservation district in Kent County is the cheapest land. But as we work to eliminate them being able to do that here, they're going to look to the next place. So it's probably going to be Sussex County.
So is it fair to say, let's be very clear here. Is it fair to say that they've only gotten this far because they're trying to disguise themselves as agriculturalists? And that's where the debate comes in, because who are they feeding here? Like, no one.
Right. Well, actually, I was on a radio show with one of the commissioners was on there as well, from Kent County, and he said, and the radio show host asked him that he voted to pass allowing them to come in. He said, "How do you justify allowing this in an agriculture area, a conservation district agriculture?" And he said, "Well, it's the new agriculture, harvesting the sun." So, if you use mentality like that to vote on what you want to do, well, then you can vote anything you want to do, regardless of the law, I believe.
Now, there has also been speculation that the site could be home to Native American remains. However, no testing has been done so far to confirm that. The proposal has been halted for the time being, pending that lawsuit. Well, Delaware State Police have arrested a 19-year-old following a traffic stop that turned up drugs and weapons in Lewes. According to Delaware State Police, around 11:45 p.m. Thursday, troopers on patrol near Lewes witnessed a white Nissan Altima traveling northbound on Coastal Highway in the area of Nassau Road. A computer inquiry of the vehicle's registration revealed that the owner of the Altima, who was listed as 19-year-old Daquan Sneed, had a suspended driver's license and an active warrant out for his arrest. The trooper confirmed that Sneed was in fact the driver and a traffic stop was initiated. Police say a strong odor of marijuana could be smelled coming from inside the vehicle. Sneed was taken into custody and a search of the car led to the discovery of approximately 90 grams of marijuana, drug paraphernalia, over $380 in suspected drug proceeds, and a Smith & Wesson handgun with an obliterated serial number. Sneed was arraigned on a slew of charges and committed to SCI on $70,000 cash bond. Coming up, Delaware students were recognized in this year's Earth Day video contest, courtesy of DENREC. More details on the way. Keep it here. DENREC Secretary Sean Garvin has recognized student winners from throughout the state who won this year's Earth Day video contest. The contest was launched by DENREC to educate and engage youth about the importance of environmental protection to inspire them to be part of the solution to address climate change. The contest invited students to produce and submit a 30-second video to answer the question, if you were in charge of the world, what actions would you take to improve the health of our planet? The three winners in the following categories are from kindergarten to fourth grade, Michael Hopkins, a 7-year-old first grader at
Alrighty, Delmarva, let's get right into the pinpoint forecast for the overnight hours into the day on Tuesday, because we do have a lot to talk about, because we're going to be looking at a nice pattern change for the rest of this week, all thanks to a cold front that will be moving through later on tomorrow. But during the overnight hours tonight, we are going to be looking at some mostly cloudy skies, still continuing with the effects of the pesky stationary boundary has kept our coastal locations a little bit cooler over the weekend. But temperatures are not really going to change all that much from what we're seeing now until the overnight hours, only dropping a couple degrees. And we're going to be looking at some patchy fog developing, especially the closer you get towards the Atlantic coast. Overnight lows 55 to 58 degrees with winds continuing from the southeast at about 10 miles per hour. Now we're going to take a look at Futurecast, rest of the overnight hours into the day on Tuesday. This is 8 o'clock this evening. We still got plenty of cloud cover here on the shore. Temperatures remaining fairly mild in the upper 50s to about 60 degrees. Once we get into the heart of the overnight hours, as you see, nothing really changed all that much. Mostly cloudy, temperatures still about the same, upper 50s to about 60 degrees. But this is when we're going to be starting to look for some patchy fog, especially for areas along the Delaware Bay, stretching down towards Wallops Island. And waking up tomorrow morning, still similar ordeal, upper 50s to 60 degrees, mostly cloudy skies, some patchy fog. But once we get into the early afternoon hours, we're going to be having a cold front that's going to be moving through, and that's going to take that stationary boundary and throw it out of here finally, and that's going to allow temperatures to be warming up as well, getting back into the 70s. The sun will return for a little bit for the early afternoon hours, but if you take a look towards our west, that is our cold front sparking some areas of showers from Baltimore, Washington, and Frederick, Maryland. Once we get into the mid-afternoon hours, though, that's when we're starting to see some scattered showers here on the shore. Temperatures have cooled down just a little bit into the mid-60s, and even by the evening hours, we're still going to be looking at some scattered showers for the most part. But once that cold front moves through during the overnight hours tomorrow night, we're going to be looking at some cooler temperatures too, actually several degrees below average to finish out the rest of this week. Tuesday forecast overall, we're going to be looking at scattered showers, especially during the afternoon and evening hours, but some very mild temperatures ahead of that front though. Afternoon highs of 72 to 77 degrees, and we got some light winds from the south between 5 and 10 miles per hour. Now, let's take a look at the allergy index for Tuesday. We are not going to be seeing the extreme levels thanks to the rainfall that is on the way, but still some fairly high values. 9.1 out of 12, still dealing with that tree pollen, and boy, it is everywhere. It's almost like several clouds worth from what I've seen over the weekend. with your typical allergens now of oak, ash, and birch tree pollen. Now we're going to switch gears and take a look at the marine conditions for Tuesday, beginning with the Atlantic. We got scattered showers, 66 degrees, winds from the southeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour with seas of 2 to 4 feet. Take a look at the Delaware Bay. We got scattered showers, 69 degrees, winds from the south at about 10 miles per hour, and you can expect seas right around less than 1 foot. And then the Chesapeake Bay, scattered showers, 70 degrees, winds from the north at about 5 miles per hour, and seas of less than 1 foot expected as well for the Chesapeake Bay. Now, going into the overnight hours tomorrow night, we're still going to be looking at some scattered showers earlier on. Once that cold front moves through, we're going to be looking at some clearing skies later on, especially closer towards Wednesday morning, and the winds are going to be switching directions too from the south. Temperatures 47, 52 degrees. Winds will now be coming out of the northwest behind that front at about 10 miles per hour. Now we're going to take a look at that extended outlook, because once we get behind this cold front, we're going to be looking at much cooler conditions Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, getting into the upper 50s and low 60s, but we are going to be looking at some fairly breezy conditions for both Wednesday and Thursday. Going into this coming weekend, though, we are going to be looking at a slow warming trend. Still fairly dry for the most part, getting into the mid and upper 60s. And then the next rain chance for the beginning portions of the new work week next week, getting back into the 70s with a 40% chance of rain on Monday.
Coming up, Twitter is reportedly prepared to accept Elon Musk's offer to purchase the company. More details straight ahead. Keep it here. Twitter is reportedly prepared to accept Elon Musk's offer to purchase the company. Twitter was in negotiations with Musk over the weekend, according to sources close to the company. A deal could be finalized as soon as today, according to the Wall Street Journal. Musk revealed just last week that he had lined up $46.5 billion in financing to acquire the company. Twitter's board met on Sunday to evaluate his offer. Shares for the company skyrocketed as headlines broke just this morning that the two were nearing a deal. An official agreement is expected either later today or early this week.
Weather Classroom is sponsored by No Nonsense Office Machines, committed to providing quality products and services with over 15 years of experience here in Sussex County. All right, ladies and gentlemen, today's weather lesson, we will be learning about what is a frontal triple point. Now, the basics of a triple point, meaning the point in where three fronts all come together in one single point. Now, the three basic frontal types that you would see drawn on a surface maps are a warm front, a cold front, and an occluded front. The warm front is generally found to the right of a low pressure center. It is where the warm sector is wrapping around the low pressure system. The cold front is typically found on the left side, wrapping colder air around the backside of a low pressure system. Since the cold front typically moves much faster than a warm front, where the cold front lifts the warm front, it will result in something known as an occluded front. The triple point is where that occluded front is located, where the cold front and warm front all intersect together. This intersection point will have a great amount of lifting involved with it as well. And if enough moisture is wrapping in from the warm sector, then really big heavy rainfalls and even severe thunderstorms can fire along a triple point and along the fronts that wrap into the low pressure center. There is a great amount of wind shear also near the triple point and near the fronts, which severe weather will often fire up ahead of the front and along the warm front as well, near that triple point where the shear is greatly enhanced. And also in the spring months, you'll be able to have a triple point associated with a dry line instead, which makes for a very dangerous situation when we were talking about severe weather. Now until May 2nd, you have the chance to win one of these life-saving devices. Go to our website, tvdelmarva.com, and on the home page you will find a list of rules and contest details of how to enter for this giveaway. Fill out a short form, and 3 of you could have the chance to win one of these Midland WR120B NOAA weather radios from us here at TV Delmarva. We'd like to thank our sponsors Midland USA and Wall Service Center for this opportunity to help promote awareness of severe weather in our community.
Well, that about does it for us today, Delmarva. Be sure to follow us on Facebook at TV Delmarva and on our website, tvdelmarva.com, for real-time news and weather updates. And while you're there, be sure to sign our petition calling on the major cable providers to carry TV Delmarva on their platforms so we can provide this kind of hard-hitting local programming to all of Delmarva. Until next time, I'm Rob Petrie reporting for TV Delmarva, Channel 14 News.